Our WWE wrestlers, drug tested. We definitely were. It wasn't often. After the wellness policy happened, I know they started testing guys more and more. Do I think it's a good deal? You bet I do.
That's a wrestler. That's why if you ever notice, all the suicide, all the drug overdose did not happen during their time as a wrestler.
Very few.
It happened, very few. It happened after their career. Because here you take this person that become a professional wrestler when he's 20 years old.
WWE superstars who had everything and lost it all. The shocking stories WWE doesn't want you to see. These are the wrestlers who ruled the ring, owned the titles, and had fans eating out of their hands until it all came crashing down. From massive scandals and career-ending mistakes to tragic personal battles, some of WWE's biggest names went from heroes to forgotten shadows overnight. Injuries, betrayals, and choices that backfired turned dreams into nightmares, and WWE quietly looked the other way. These are the shocking stories the company doesn't want you to know. The legends who had it all and lost everything. The untold stories of WWE when dreams turned to nightmares.
Just turned 32 years old and I went to 8 funerals this year. I mean, I shouldn't be going to funerals at 32 years old. But as bad as this may sound, it opened my eyes. It made me take my foot out of the grave and step back and say, what am I doing? Do I want to join that club? Hell no, I don't want to join that club.
Jeff Hardy, the Daredevil's downfall. Jeff Hardy was poetry in motion, a high-flying artist who captivated audiences worldwide. Multiple championship reigns, WrestleMania moments, and a legion of devoted fans. But behind the face paint lurked demons that would repeatedly derail one of wrestling's brightest stars. In 2011, the world witnessed one of wrestling's most humiliating moments. At TNA's Victory Road pay-per-view, Hardy stumbled to the ring visibly intoxicated, unable to perform. The main event was cut to just 90 seconds. His opponent Sting could barely hide his disgust. This wasn't an isolated incident. Hardy's career has been a cycle of suspensions, releases, and rock-bottom moments. In 2021, he walked out mid-match during a WWE live event, effectively ending his latest run with the company. WWE offered rehabilitation. Hardy declined and was released shortly after.
Is it difficult because your name's Jeff Hardy? You wrestle as Jeff Hardy. They're one and the same. At the same time, they're also different people, right? Is it difficult because your life is on display as Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird too because my personal life kind of became my professional life back in 08 and 09. And that a lot of people, that's messed up. They're going there, man. But I mean, in a way, I think it helped me. But also, I looking back at it now, I go, oh my God, was that the right thing to do? The storyline and the feud with CM Punk was just so amazing, and that kind of helped make it that way because we were complete opposites.
Enzo Amore, ego over everything. Few wrestlers have talked themselves into and out of success quite like Enzo Amore. His charisma and mic skills made him a breakout star in NXT, but backstage his behavior became unbearable. He was literally kicked out of the WWE locker room by his fellow wrestlers. Then came January 2018. Allegations of misconduct surfaced, and WWE learned Enzo had hidden an ongoing investigation from them. He was fired immediately, though charges were later dropped. The damage was irreversible. Enzo's inability to navigate backstage politics and his failure to communicate with WWE management destroyed what could have been a legendary career.
From WWE. His wrestling career went up in flames, so he decided to spit fire instead. However, he kinda just sucked at rapping, so he had to go back to wrestling, and he got a contract with MLW where he revived his career. That is until he lost in embarrassing fashion to a 2-foot-tall wrestler called Microman. And after that, MLW and Enzo parted ways. Now he's trying to rebuild his career once again and got booked with New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he finally has an excuse for why people don't understand a word he's saying. But sadly, his career will come to an end for the third time on October 7th at the Showcase of Citrus when he takes on verified champion of the world, Netflix and social media superstar Randy Wentworth.
Umaga, the monster WWE abandoned. Eddie Umaga Fatu was a force of nature, a 350-pound Samoan wrecking machine who dominated WWE in the mid-2000s. But when he refused rehabilitation after a second wellness policy violation in 2009, WWE terminated his contract without hesitation. Less than a year later, on December 4, 2009, Umaga died from a massive heart attack after overdosing on prescription drugs. He was only 36 years old. WWE's response: absolute silence, no tribute video, no moment of recognition, nothing. The company had distanced itself from Umaga after his termination, and his death linked to substance abuse was something they wanted no association with. Test, the prototype they left behind. Andrew Test Martin had everything WWE typically loves. He was 6'6", had a physique Vince McMahon adored, and was trained by Bret Hart himself. He held multiple championships and was involved in major storylines including a kayfabe romance with Stephanie McMahon. But years of wrestling destroyed his body. A spinal fusion surgery made things worse. After repeated wellness policy violations, WWE released him in 2007. On March 13, 2009, Test was found dead in his Florida apartment from an accidental oxycodone overdose. He was 33 years old. Post-mortem examination revealed he suffered from CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the same brain condition that has devastated countless athletes. WWE never acknowledged his death. Not a word on television, barely a mention on their website. For a company that had paid tribute to others, the silence was deafening.
On March the 13th, 2009, police in Florida received a call from one of Andrew's neighbours. When the police arrived, they found him unresponsive and confirmed that he'd passed away. The official ruling listed his death as an accidental overdose of oxycodone, that same painkiller that he'd struggled with for years. On his podcast, Jim Ross said drug addiction was his biggest opponent. He couldn't win. He didn't win, and it killed him. When I heard he'd passed away, I wasn't shocked. According to the talent, he'd become very dependent on painkillers, muscle relaxers, and downers in general. And the boys forget that shit's a depressant. If you have depression issues and you hit the pill bottle too much, you're digging your own grave. He was living his dream, but it became a nightmare. He could have been a bigger star than most people ever dreamed, but we never got to see that.
Lance Cade, the prodigy Shawn Michaels couldn't save. Trained by Shawn Michaels himself, Lance Cade seemed destined for greatness. A three-time tag team champion with a main event push on the horizon. But in October 2008, everything collapsed when Cade suffered a seizure on a plane due to painkiller use. WWE fired him immediately. Jim Ross called it a major league mistake and suggested the firing was meant as a wake-up call. But WWE never offered Cade rehabilitation or support. On August 13, 2010, at just 29 years old, Lance Cade was found dead from heart failure, exacerbated by years of painkiller abuse. WWE said nothing. Even his mentor Shawn Michaels remained publicly silent. The company wanted no association with another young death tied to substance abuse. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy's financial nightmare. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Ric Flair was the epitome of excess. 16 world championships, custom suits, expensive cars, and a lifestyle that matched his Nature Boy persona.
Hi. Hi. What may I do for you, sir?
Listen, in the interest of fairness, I'd like you to have Bronn Breaker.
Because you're going to lift his suspension.
Because I'd like to talk to him eye to eye like a man.
You know,
see, I'd like to smooth it over, okay?
if I got that phone call, I'd want to smooth things over
This
too.
has nothing to do with a phone call. I'm a grown man. Bronn Breaker's a grown man. I want to get two grown men in a room and see if we can iron this out. If you can have him here next week.
Mr. Pierce, it would be my honor to have Bronn Breaker here next week. But you better be on your best behavior.
The drama between Adam Pearce and Bronn Breaker is over. Think again. The situation just took a massive turn that nobody saw coming. The Raw general manager might be in the biggest predicament of his career, and it all involves the dog, a mysterious phone call, and Paul Heyman pulling the strings. Buckle up, because this story has more twists than a Royal Rumble battle. Let's break it all down. Alright, let's rewind and set the stage. It all went down on the January 12th edition of Monday Night Raw. Bronn Breaker, already fuming after his loss to CM Punk during Raw's Netflix anniversary show, absolutely lost it. The former Intercontinental Champion went on a rampage, attacking multiple superstars backstage and causing absolute chaos throughout the arena.
It's not done.
When General Manager Adam Pearce tried to step in and restore order, things escalated fast. Breaker stormed the ring, officials couldn't contain him, and in the heat of the moment, Bronn Breaker put his hands on the general manager himself.
I am ejecting you both from this arena tonight, and if I so much as smell you near this building, I will suspend you both indefinitely!
Now for those who know WWE rules, you never put your hands on authority. It's the ultimate line you don't cross. Pearce had seen enough. He made the call that shocked everyone. Bronn Breaker was indefinitely suspended from Monday Night Raw. No timeline, no return date. The dog was sent home. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. Enter the Wiseman himself, Paul Heyman. Now Heyman has been managing the Vision, a group that includes none other than Bronn Breaker. And Heyman being Heyman, he wasn't about to let this suspension slide without making his voice heard.
Bronn Breaker's growth on a weekly basis is absolutely mind-boggling and awe-inspiring. And anybody that's around him is inspired to up their game because he's so driven and ambitious to up his.
In a shocking twist, Heyman pointed out something crucial that everyone seemed to miss. He revealed that Adam Pearce actually put his hands on Bronn Breaker first before Breaker retaliated. Think about that. If that's true, then technically Pearce started the physical confrontation, and Breaker was just defending himself.
Was on 20 and let's just use it on one man. Because one man shares our vision right now. He's looking at Saturday night.
This revelation completely changed the narrative. Suddenly, Pearce's suspension of Breaker didn't look as black and white anymore. The WWE Universe started questioning, was this suspension even justified? Did Pearce abuse his authority? And more importantly, what consequences would the general manager face for his own actions? The plot was thickening, and we were only getting started. Fast forward to this past Monday in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The Raw cameras caught something very suspicious. Adam Pearce was seen taking a mysterious phone call backstage. The cameras didn't pick up who was on the other end, but judging by Pearce's body language and facial expressions, this wasn't your average conversation. Who was calling? What did they want? And why did Pearce look so concerned? Before Pearce could even address this week's Raw audience, he sent out a message on social media that raised even more eyebrows. In his announcement video for the January 19th Raw episode, Pearce gave a not-so-subtle shout-out to the suspended superstar, and I quote, "A special shout-out to Bronn Breaker. Hey Bronn, I hope you enjoy the show from home." That message dripped with sarcasm and authority. Pearce was making it clear, the ban was still in effect, and Breaker better stay exactly where he was, far away from the Raw arena. But that confidence wouldn't last long. Later that same night, Adam Pearce approached Paul Heyman backstage. Now remember, this is after the mysterious phone call. Pearce, trying to play it cool, informed Heyman that he wanted to smooth things over with Bronn Breaker, and invited the dog to appear on next week's Raw. Wait, what? Just minutes earlier, Pearce was telling Breaker to enjoy the show from home, and now he's extending an invitation for him to return. Something wasn't adding up. Paul Heyman, the master manipulator, immediately called Pearce out. Heyman suggested that this sudden change of heart had everything to do with that mysterious phone call. Was someone pressuring Pearce? Threatening him? Did higher-ups in WWE force his hand? Pearce denied it. He claimed this had nothing to do with the phone call, and that he simply wanted to handle this situation like adults. He said both he and Breaker needed to get past this for the good of Monday Night Raw. Heyman, smirking like the wise man he is, agreed to bring Bronn Breaker to next week's show, but then came the warning that sent chills down everyone's spine. Heyman looked Pearce dead in the eyes and said the general manager better be on his best behavior. Translation? Whatever happened on that phone call, Pearce is clearly in a corner, and Heyman knows it. So what does all this mean for Bronn Breaker and the future of Monday Night Raw? Great question, and here's what we know. First, technically, Bronn Breaker's suspension has not been officially lifted yet. This whole situation is still up in the air. Next week's Raw could see Pearce formally reinstate the dog, or we could witness another explosive confrontation that makes things even worse. Second, the timing of all this is crucial. We're in the middle of Royal Rumble season. The 2026 Royal Rumble is right around the corner, and Bronn Breaker is one of WWE's hottest stars. If this suspension continues, it could keep him out of the Rumble match entirely. But if Pearce lifts it next week, we could see the dog make a massive statement on the road to WrestleMania.
Officer, we're talking all back.
You think I'm tired? Oh my God.
Can you stop?
WWE just sent a clear warning message to one of their most volatile superstars. Bronn Breaker has been suspended indefinitely after crossing a line that even the Vision couldn't pull him back from. And trust me, what went down between Breaker and Raw general manager Adam Pearce was absolutely insane. Alright, let's set the scene. Monday Night Raw is broadcasting from the PSD Bank Dome in Düsseldorf, Germany, and tensions are already at an all-time high. The Vision, consisting of Bronn Breaker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and led by the legendary Paul Heyman, have been on a warpath for weeks. Their primary targets, Dragon Lee, Penta, and Rey Mysterio. These three luchadors have been standing toe-to-toe with one of the most dominant factions on Raw, and it's led to some incredible matches and even more incredible chaos.
Look at you! I was suspended! What's that here? Hey, Brett, chill! Now you got Adam spitting everywhere? Goddamn! I want to see them fight.
On this particular night, a tag team match was scheduled. Bronson Reed and Austin Theory representing the Vision against Dragon Lee and Penta. Now, if you've been following Raw lately, you know that anytime the Vision is involved, things are going to get messy. But what happened during and after this match? Nobody saw it coming. The match itself was solid. Reed and Theory were dominating early on, showing exactly why the Vision has been such a threat. But Dragon Lee and Penta weren't backing down. These guys are warriors, and they started building momentum.
Jesus, God! Oh! Adam Pearce, what person do it? Goddamn, Mo! Attack! Y'all gotta chill on Adam! Whoa! Whoa! Oh my God! No, he's going crazy!
Then, predictably, Logan Paul showed up at ringside trying to give the Vision the advantage, but Dragon Lee saw it coming. He managed to take Paul and Theory to the outside, then launched himself over the ropes in a spectacular dive, taking both men out. The crowd is going absolutely wild at this point, but here's where everything goes sideways. Out of nowhere, Bronn Breaker charges through the arena like a freight train and destroys Dragon Lee with a devastating spear. The impact was sickening. The referee immediately calls for the disqualification, but Breaker isn't done. He slides into the ring and levels Penta with another brutal spear.
Chaos erupts on WWE Raw. Bronn Breaker suspended. WWE Raw on January 12, 2026, at the PSD Bank Dome in Düsseldorf, delivered absolute chaos. What started as a tag match with the Vision versus Dragon Lee and Penta quickly spiraled out of control. Out of nowhere, Bronn Breaker stormed the ring and nearly tore Dragon Lee apart with a brutal spear. Still fuming from last week's loss to CM Punk, Breaker ignored everyone, even GM Adam Pearce. When Pearce confronted him, Breaker shoved him in the corner, forcing officials to intervene. His stable finally let him out, but the damage was done. As a result, Adam Pearce suspended Bronn Breaker indefinitely, leaving fans shocked and wondering when the powerhouse will return.
This is when Raw general manager Adam Pearce decides he's seen enough. Pearce rushes down to ringside, trying to restore order and confront Breaker. But while Pearce is distracted, Bronson Reed takes advantage of the chaos and crushes Penta with a tsunami in the ring. And then, because apparently one spear to Dragon Lee wasn't enough, Breaker hits him with another one on the outside. Now here's where things get really serious. Adam Pearce has had enough. He gets right in Bronn Breaker's face, and you can see the frustration and anger written all over the GM's expression. Pearce is yelling, trying to get through to Breaker, trying to make him understand he's gone too far. But Bronn Breaker, he's completely unhinged. He's lost in the moment. His adrenaline is pumping, and he does the unthinkable. Breaker grabs Adam Pearce, pins him against the corner turnbuckle, and gets right in his face. For a moment, it looked like Breaker was about to spear the general manager himself. The entire arena held its breath.
I am accepting you both from this arena tonight, and if I someone can swing you I will suspend you both indefinitely.
Thankfully, Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul all rush in to pull Breaker away before things escalate even further.